Hello, everybody. How are you? Give me a sign in the chat if you guys can hear me and see me okay, just so we can get any technical difficulties out of the way before we get started. Good to go. Okay, I'm seeing thumbs ups happening. That's fantastic. Great. Hi, Maria. Nice to see you. Well, see you, I guess, on our screen. Nice to see you. We will just wait, a few minutes for everyone to join us. I know it's the lunch hour. People need to get a coffee, get some tea, sit down. Make sure your headphones are charged. Mine are fully charged. They are here. Fantastic. You see my colleague Valeria in the chat. She's going to be here helping us today, answering some of your guys' questions in the chat since we're all here together during this short lunch hour. Well, it's lunch hour for me. I don't know if it's lunch hour for you guys, depending on where you are. So we'll just give you guys a few minutes for everyone to join us. Yes, thank you, Valeria. We will talk about the questions tab in a sec. Thank you for anticipating that. You are fantastic. So while we're waiting, I guess, you guys can introduce yourselves. I would love to know who's joining us and from where, and what your nonprofit is, where you're from. Give us some more information. We'd love to meet you and learn more about you. And I apologize in advance. I am struggling through a cold, so I have my tea right here. But if you hear me sneeze, cough, or clear my throat during this time, I deeply apologize in advance. But the show must go on. I see some Mario typing and Susan typing. We'll just give everyone a minute or two to get connected. Hi, Susan. Okay, Woodhaven Rescue Farm. Wonderful. Nice to have you here. What kind of animals do you rescue? It's nice to meet you. I hope you're surrounded by wonderful animals of all kinds. Hi, Rich. Washington. Ragamuffin Ranch, a dog rescue. Phenomenal. Hi, Mario. Nice to meet you. Coastal Symphony of Georgia. Amazing. Dear Maria, who is a good friend, thanks for being here, and glad you were seeing you represent your organization. Someone from Florida, John from Florida, lovely. Nice to meet you. Mini horses. Llamas. Oh my gosh, you're speaking to me right now. Wonderful. Arizona Girl Choir, phenomenal. I was a choir girl back in the day. Nice to meet you. I think Charlene. Wonderful. Marilyn, nice to meet you. We're just going to let everyone trickle in for about another minute or so, and then we will jump right in, okay? John from Phoenix, Steeping Stone Foundation, wonderful. Literacy education. I feel like I'm on a Facebook Live. Do you guys remember Facebook Lives where you could interact with, with the people in the chat? I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. It's nice, but it's nice to meet you guys. Wonderful. All right. Well, I don't know if we're going to have more people join us, but I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and I guess people will trickle in as they come in. So hi, everybody. It's lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I know it's right during your lunch hour or around lunchtime, or if you're on the West Coast, in the morning, bright and early in the morning for you. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Please introduce yourself in the chat if I haven't gotten to you and said hello to you already. I'm so sorry, but my colleague Valeria is there in the chat, and she's ready to answer all of your questions and say hello to you guys individually. So to give you some context about this webinar, while waiting for more people to trickle in, you're not far from about 200 registrants actually we had join us, which is really exciting, which is the largest number of people that I've ever given a webinar to. So wish me luck. This is basically my Super Bowl. Hopefully I can pull a Rihanna and, do it really well. So just please let us know that, if at any point you cannot hear me or see me at any time during this webinar, please just, that let us know, and we will be able to try and figure out those technical issues, but I think we should be okay. So we are together for a little under an hour this afternoon. So I'm going to speak for between 30 and 40 minutes, and then we're going to have some time for questions afterward. And so hello to everyone that is here, and of course saying hello to everyone who's watching us on a replay. We are happy to have you and happy that you're here. So let's get started. Okay, so let me just get some housekeeping out of the way while we wait for everyone to trickle in again. Before we begin, just a few, things to do is be sure to silence your notifications so that you guys aren't, bothered by anything during this time that we have together. In your chat on the top right-hand corner, you have a little bell symbol. And if you don't want the notifications, you can actually click that button and the notifications will turn off. And the chat, make sure you're interacting in the chat with us. The chat is for interactions, comments, and discussion topics kind of between us. So make sure that you are using that as well. But I will say, if you have questions, please be sure to ask your questions in the dedicated questions tab, which is at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. The reason that I ask you to do that is because you can vote for the questions that you want us to answer the most. Obviously, we are quite a few people tonight, or this evening. Oh my gosh, getting ahead of myself. We are quite a few people here this afternoon, and so we won't be able to answer every single one of your questions. And so just make sure that you're asking them in the right place and voting for the ones that you want, that are the highest priority for you. And we will try and get to those, of course. Okay. So in that being said, let's jump right in. So let's get to brass tacks, get to the good stuff. So we have a little surprise for you guys, so make sure that you're staying until the end. This is obviously not for everyone who's just watching us live, but also for everyone who is watching us in the replay, on the replay. A quick reminder about the replay, actually, before I get started. Everyone who has registered will receive the replay. So even if you're watching us live, that means you too. And you will actually get access to everything that we've talked about. So the slides, the replay video, etc. So we really encourage you to listen instead of taking really detailed notes. Obviously, because we will send you everything later, and we encourage you to kind of interact in the chat with your peers here, and know that you'll get all the information that you need a little bit later. Okay, fantastic. And so we've done all of this talking, and I haven't introduced myself yet, and my colleague Valeria, again, who is with us on the chat. So hi, my name is Trish. I am the growth manager for Springly, and I've been with Springly for about 3.5 years now. But I've been involved in the nonprofit sector for much, much longer than that, for closing on 10 years. I have been a volunteer. I have been an employee from nonprofits, and I'm currently a volunteer for a women's empowerment organization called the Women's World Wide Web. And it is the joy of my life to be part of their organization. And so just know that, we are here at Springly. We are big fans of nonprofit organizations. We want to help people who help people, which is all of you guys. So my colleague Valeria is on the chat with me as well. Valeria, please say hello in the chat. She is our acquisition manager, which means that she takes care of everything that is advertising related, which we will talk about a little bit later. So she is here with us, making sure that, we can get to all of your questions in the chat and giving me a helping hand. So thank you, Valeria, for doing this for me. All right, let's get into it. So in order to kind of get things moving and get everything started, I want to play a little bit of a game. Okay, so these are the directions. You only want to answer in the chat if your answer to the question is yes. So if your answer is no, you don't write anything. And even if you're answering no to the third question, for example, you don't have the right to say yes to anything else. Okay, this is going to give us an audit of how you're doing with your nonprofit's online visibility. And we are excited to see what's going on. Okay, so let's take a deeper look. So again, remember, only answering in the chat if it's a yes. Okay, first question is, your nonprofit has a website. So everyone who has every nonprofit here has a website. Yes, yes, I'm seeing everyone. Wonderful. Fantastic. Okay, question number 2. You are proud of your website. Wonderful, meaning you want to share it, you want to show all your friends and family and everyone on the street that you see, say, hey, this is my website, I love it, I'm proud of it. Wonderful, yes, yes, seeing lots of yeses come in, fantastic, okay. The next one is, if we type your nonprofit's name in Google, you will appear first. I feel like I can feel you Googling right now, and that's okay. So if I typed your nonprofit's name in Google, you would appear first in the results. Yes, okay. Yes, Maria with 3 exclamation points. I love that. Great. So we're seeing a little less yeses come in. Again, remember, if you're answering no, then you can't play anymore. Sorry. All right. Next question is, your website is optimized for SEO. And if you don't know what SEO is, that's okay. We're going to talk about it in just a little bit. All right, I'm not seeing many yeses come in. Okay, Rich, yes. All right, so less yeses coming in. That's totally okay. This is why we're here together today. You know what Google Ad Grants is. Okay. Yes, Rich. All right, you've gotten 1 yes. And your nonprofit has a TikTok account. All right. That was our last question. Don't worry. Okay, so all of these questions are here to help us get an idea of where you stand within your nonprofit's visibility, why your presence is needed online. So let's get started. Why is it important? I know what you're thinking, purple cow, but I promise there's a lesson here, okay? So even if you may not recognize it, the purple cow represents your nonprofit organization, okay? You need to be the purple cow in the middle of the herd that stands out in order to be visible online. You know, obviously today we live in a world where we have less and less time to make decisions, yet more and more options to choose from. This is why you need to stand out from the crowd by being remarkable. And in order to do that, you have to be a little bit different, right? If you're sitting at a standard of normal, you're pretty much invisible online these days, much like the other normal colored cows, brown and white cows, black and white cows, whatever you think cows are. I'm from Virginia. We have lots of brown cows over there. You don't want to be the brown cow in the herd. You want to be the purple cow. And so why is this important, right? Why do you want to be the purple cow? Why do you have to be? Basically, it's going to help you interact and engage with more people. It's going to help you gain notoriety and credibility, which can help you do many different things. Gain more funding, attract more members or donors, attract higher donations, attract more volunteers. And of course, all of that, you're going to interact and engage with more people and stand out from your competitors. Okay? You following me? Give me like a thumbs up in the chat or a yes in the chat if we're doing well so far. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate your guys' engagement. So the first thing that we want to do is understand again more about what visibility is, right? And so I love this quote that you have on the screen here. It says, "Don't try to be the best, try to be their favorite." And I love this because it reminds us that being the favorite doesn't necessarily mean being the best. We don't necessarily have to be the best to be effective. And your nonprofit has something so special, and whatever that is, it has to be unique and visible online, right? So you want to harness that uniqueness that you have, whatever it is, and that is what you want to put forward online to make sure that you are standing out, you are being that purple cow, okay? So this afternoon, we're going to discuss 4 subjects to help improve your visibility online. So we're doing 4 topics in order to make that happen, okay? So you have your website, SEO, which again, if it's not familiar to you, that's okay. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Google Ads and social media. Okay. All right, let's jump in with our website. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the website again, which is your nonprofit's kind of online office. At least that's what we like to call it here. And why do we call it that? Because when someone walks into your office of your nonprofit, whether it's, if it's just to get information or whatever, they come in to expect to see your culture, the ambiance, but they're also looking for information about who you are, what you do, what your mission is, and how they can get involved, and why they should pick your organization over another. So, of course, with everything I just said, that also needs to be on your website. These 5 elements that you see here on the screen, what do you do? Who are you? How can they help? And why should they help you? Are essential, and they need to be on your website on the first page, so that without having to scroll, so that they can get all of the information that they need directly without having to search for it. Okay? And all this information should be on your website, clearly. So, to summarize, there's a quote that I love by this gentleman, Stephen Krug, who is an expert in the sector of user experience. And user experience, if you're unfamiliar what it is, it's basically the science of how people use products, services, websites, etc. It's kind of the study of human behavior regarding technology. And so what he says is that we don't read pages, we scan them. And the title of this book, which is a fantastic book if you haven't read it, is Don't Make Me Think. And in general, the idea is that your visitor doesn't want to have to think about where they're going to find the information. The work should be pretty much be done for them, right? And this concept applies to your website. A visitor is not going to take the time to read every word on your website and flip through all of the pages. Your most important messages have to jump pretty much right out at them and be extremely obvious as soon as they click on your website. So your goal is to make their life easier by having a logical order to your website pages and making sure that they see what you need them to see first. Is that pretty clear? Thumbs up in the chat. Yeses in the chat if that is clear. I'm sorry for your eyes in advance. So, thank you guys for confirming in the chat. Fantastic. Okay, so I apologize for your eyes in advance. And if you are from this organization, I'm sorry, but this is why we're here together today. So this is a very bad example of what a nonprofit website looks like. And I'm going to let you look at it for about 5 seconds. And then I want you to react in the chat and tell me what you retained from it. Okay. Again, I'm roasting myself because I'm from Virginia, and as much as I love you, this is a very bad website. So, all right. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let me know in the chat what you got about from this nonprofit, from their homepage of their website. Again, I apologize for your eyes in advance. It's not easy to look at, but again. Okay, they're from Central Virginia, sure. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Fair. Contact them. Not much about what they do, what they are, or what they do exactly. Yep, Susan, spot on. Know who, what, why, exactly. Wonderful. You guys hit the nail on the head, and you're very good students, so thank you very much. So it looks dated. Yeah, it definitely looks dated. And so this is again, they're missing those 5 elements on their website that's going to kind of jump out at the user and give them all of the information that they need about this nonprofit in order to make a quick decision about if they want to be involved or not, who they are, what they do, and how they can get involved. So let me give you a better example. Obviously, this is not super fair because this is our website, but it does explain the theory quite well, okay? So on the screen, you can see we have all of the 5 elements here that are above the line where we have to scroll down to, right? So we don't want our user to have to scroll and search and click around. Again, you land on our website, and this is here, it's right in front of your face. So here we have our who. You see our logo here at the top left corner, Springly. Hello. You have the what, which is, again, right big in blue. It's our value proposition. It's exactly what we do. So, there's no confusion there. You have the why in our 3 bullet points there. So why you should get involved, why you should trust us and use our software, essentially. You have the how you can get involved. All you have to do is insert your email there insert your email there with a good call to action. And then you have the why trust us. So it's going to reassure your user and give them a reason to trust you. We have over 20,000, actually almost 30,000 organizations now that are using our software. And so again, reassuring the user that, they're not the only one here. Good. So we have a mission for you. So again, in this webinar, with every single every topic that we're going to discuss, you're going to come out with one mission to accomplish. So, right, so I'm not just going to provide you with some theory. You're going to have 4 actionable things to do in order to make sure that you're making your nonprofit more visible. So this is your mission for the website section of this webinar, okay? Your mission is to verify that you have these 5 elements on your homepage without having to scroll and that they're eye-catching, okay? And the last thing that you want to do is to delete anything that confuses any of this messaging. You want all of your attention to be directed toward these 5 essential elements, okay? You want to guide your visitor, and you don't want, and don't hesitate to make any radical or, any radical decisions. You are here for Springly, so do some spring cleaning, okay? Again, I see some comments coming in on the chat. Don't forget to ask your questions in the questions tab, okay? So we can, touch on any of these topics later when we get to the questions section, okay? Hope that's clear. Yes, good to go. Should we move on to SEO? Well, if you're ready or not, here it comes. So having a nice website is great, but if no one can find it, it's not helping you, which is essentially what search engine optimization is, okay? So we have evolved far past the days of looking things up in a dictionary or even an encyclopedia. Now we say, ask Google, right? And just for a side note, when I use the word Google, I'm using it to describe all search engines. There are hundreds and hundreds out there, like Bing or Yahoo, etc. But I'm just using Google because it's the most common and it refers to, most of the search engines out there. So just small parentheses there. And so when we say that our website is visible on Google, that means that it is ranked well. So in the example on the screen, we have Google search results. I've searched for the best dentist in Virginia, and we observed there are 2 different types of search results, okay? So at the top of the page, we have the paid results, or ads, which are noted by the small sponsored tag at the top. This means that the company has paid to be here, which we call SEA, or search engine advertising, which we're going to talk about in the next section on Google Ad Grants. So file that in the back of your brain for right now. We want to focus on the bottom of the page where we have our organic search results, or SEO, which refers to search engine optimization. And here the goal is to arrive as high in the organic results as possible. Okay, and there are a few ways that we are able to do this. So in order to do this, again, we're going to talk about advertising later. So we're talking about the organic search results, so nothing sponsored. And there are 3 pillars of SEO, or search engine optimization, that you need to master in order to rank as highly as possible. Okay, I know this seems complicated. With a little bit of time dedicated to it, it's easy to pick up. You got this. Okay, so the first part of the pillar is technical SEO. Okay, it's the largest base. It's the largest part of the pyramid. It's the base because it's the technical structure of your website. Basically, the question is, does the code of your website respond favorably to Google's requirements? A good example of this is making sure that your images aren't too big, or the load time of your website isn't too long, or that your website is adapted for mobile viewing. So if you're viewing it on your smartphone, for example. I feel like I can feel the worry kind of jump through the screen about, talking about code and not knowing how to code, etc. I just want to reassure you that all of the really well-known website creators like Wix or WordPress or even Springly, what we do here at Springly, they're optimized for this criteria already. Okay, so that's not something you have to worry about generally. Okay. So the second part of the pyramid is content. And this is mainly referring to the types of words that you're going to put on your website, on your landing pages, that will determine if Google will rank you based on a given keyword. Okay, let me give you an example to make this a little bit clearer. Okay, so if we're going to talk about, let's go back to our Car Club of Virginia example from earlier. So let's say you're a car club and you're looking to attract some new members. Okay. In that case, you have every reason to create and optimize a website, a page on your website with the keyword car club in Virginia. I'm using car club in Virginia, so that all car lovers in Virginia can find you, right? Inside this page, you're not just going to want to use that one single keyword, car club in Virginia. You're going to want to use similar phrases that are going to give you the best chance to rank. For example, the best car club in Virginia, Northern Virginia car clubs, antique Virginia car clubs, etc. So you're going to want to use similar phrases that are going to help enrich this landing page with keywords to help send signals to Google being like, hey, we're a car club in Virginia. When people look for this, we want to appear first, right? It's basically you communicating with Google being like, hey, we exist. Okay? So the third and the final piece of the puzzle is authority. This is the credibility that Google gives to your website. So for Google to think of your website as credible, as trustworthy, basically, it's important to have signals that come from other websites. So for example, if a government or town website, like a chamber of commerce, for example, or I don't know, your local county website references your club with a link, Google considers your website to be credible. These external links that go towards your website are called backlinks. And so if you have the possibility in the sector or other nonprofits who work in the same field that have a website, it's worth asking them for a backlink to your website, because this is gold for your nonprofit. Basically, Google is referencing your website and being like, hey, oh, this person knows them, this person knows them, and that person knows them, and they all work in the same sector. They must be pretty trustworthy. This must be legit, basically. Clear? Let me show you what this looks like. So again, our mission, so your mission for this part of this section is to install the Google Search Console on your website. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. This is a screenshot of what the Google Search Console looks like. And what it does is the Google Search Console is a free tool, and it basically shows you the queries that people are using to find their website. So basically, what are they searching in Google in order to find your website? That's what it's showing you, okay? It's going to give you precious insights into the status and the ranking of Google. And again, it's 100% free, and it's easy to, it's compatible with all of the website tools in the market, again, like Wix or WordPress or even Springly. Okay? So again, your mission is to make sure that that you have the Google Search Console installed into your website so that you can discover what queries people are searching for in order to find you. Why you want to do this again, so that when you know what people are searching for you, you can optimize your website for them, and that makes sure that you are getting all of the traffic that you can. Okay? All right, let's move. Time is flying. I'm going to take a sip of tea because my cold is not doing well. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so let's move on. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to ask them in the questions tab so I can answer any of them later. Okay, so let's move on to ads. Again, that sponsored part and Google Ad Grants. Okay, so the idea of Google Ad Grants is to start advertising for free. So while we touched on the organic side, SEO, earlier, you also want to make your nonprofit more visible through advertising, which again is what we call SEA, or search engine advertising. So in order to kind of get through all of the details, we need to know a little bit more about how this works in Google anyway. So let's take it step by step, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is make a list of keywords that you want to appear on. Then what you're going to do is put them into the Google Ads machine. Opening an account is free with Google AdWords, by the way. And every time your user clicks on the link, you're going to be charged. Okay, so again, you have the sponsored post up here. You've paid to be there. Every time someone clicks on it, you are going to be charged a certain amount. And how do you know how much this is going to cost? I feel like I can feel you asking yourself this question, being like, Trish, how much is it going to cost? I have no money to spend on this. I hear you. I understand. So the cost per click depends on the competition or popularity of the keyword. Okay, so it's an auction-based system. So the more people who want to use it, the more it costs, which can be a little bit frustrating. But on the opposite, which also means the opposite is also true, that if you find really niche keywords that your competitors aren't using or using not as much, then they're going to be less expensive because the price goes down. So let me give you an example, again, with our Virginia Car Club that we saw a little bit earlier. Okay, so let's say one of the keywords that you would like to bid on, bidding, again, auction, is car club membership. Okay, that's a keyword that you like, you've pulled out, you think it's great, you want to bid on it. But the problem is with this keyword, car club membership, is you will be in competition with every single car club in the United States, which can make the price of this keyword extremely expensive and also not target the right people, right? Because if you're a Virginia Car Club and you bid on car club membership, you risk to have people come in from Texas, California, Illinois, etc., right? So you want to be a little bit more specific, first of all, to save some money, but also to make sure that you're getting the right people. So we want to be more specific by buying the right keywords like Virginia Car Club membership. It's going to localize your ads more, and it's going to lower the competition and therefore the price. Good? Clear? I hope so. So your mission is to look into Google Ad Grants. So what is Google Ad Grants? Google Ad Grants is a system, is a program that Google has put into place to help nonprofit organizations called Google Ad Grants that gives you up to $10,000 of free advertising per month. Actually, and in order to do so, you have to be 501c3 and you have to be validated by TechSoup, right? So TechSoup is a wonderful organization that negotiates with tech companies to get reductions on certain, technology packages like Adobe, Tableau, etc. But also with Springly. Springly is a TechSoup partner, which means that if you are a 501c3, you can also get up to 80% off of our software here at Springly. And Valeria will share a little bit more in the chat about that. So in order to be, you have to apply for this program, but if you meet all of the criteria, then you should be good to go. So your mission for this section is to verify if your organization is eligible for Google Ad Grants. Okay. There's more information. All you have to do is Google the Google Ad Grants system. Obviously, pick the United States because this is a program that is open globally. So make sure that you're looking more into the United States, if you're located in the United States, that is. And follow the steps. It's super simple to apply. So just make sure that see if you're eligible or not, because $10,000 of free advertising sounds pretty fantastic. All right. We have one more section to go. How are we doing? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Are we moving too fast? Doing okay? All right, we're seeing some thumbs up. Great. Wonderful. All right. So the last section that we're going to talk about regarding your nonprofit's online presence is social media, right? This is a mastodon of a topic. Obviously, social media is vast and complex, but we have a way to make sure that it's simple and efficient, and it's not going to be overwhelming. And also it will be sustainable for your nonprofit to manage. Okay. So you probably recognize most of these icons here. We have Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. There are hundreds of social medias to choose from. But in the middle of this vast ocean, your goal should be to follow one rule and one rule only: to ask yourself the right questions. And it is just as simple as that. So let's get into it. Okay. So your goal on social media should be to build a community to activate when the time comes. Okay. And to build your community on the right channel, you need to ask yourself 4 questions. And those are the 4 questions that are here on the screen. Is your target audience present on this channel? Remember, social media is not a one-size-fits-all. Actually, none of communication and marketing is a one-size-fits-all, right? Just because one nonprofit does well with something does not mean yours will, and vice versa, right? So if your target audience is not present on a social media platform, then it's not worth putting your time and effort into it, even if it's extremely trendy. I'm looking at you, TikTok, right? So if you have an organization that is, targeting mostly older people, you maybe want to be on Facebook or on LinkedIn, right? Depending on what your goals are. But if you're trying to tackle a younger generation, TikTok may be the place for you. But don't put your effort where it's not going to serve you. Okay, it's going to be harder to keep up with, and it's just not gonna be effective for what you want to do. Okay, so second question is your content adapted to this channel? You want to make sure that the content that you're already producing, that you already have kind of in your back pocket, is going to be adapted to the right social media channel. So for example, Instagram is more about the visual, right? Great photos, great videos, short videos. And Twitter, for example, is about short form content that's really punchy and sharp, and able to get people moving and have really good calls to action, right? So the name of the game of social media is to recycle stuff that you already have. You shouldn't be producing a whole bunch of new content for for this channel. You should kind of be able to recycle and reuse, right? And especially if you have to create new content for a channel, let's say you don't have any great photos of your organization, but you really want to do Instagram, it is going to be much more difficult for you to go out, take photos, edit them, and then upload them versus reusing what you already have, right? So is your content that you already have adapted to this channel? Again, it's going to make these choices more simple, right? Do you have the possibility, third question, to post regularly? AKA, do you have the human resources internally that will allow you to keep a regular schedule? Do you have the time dedicated to do so? Between us, there's nothing worse than a dead social media channel, meaning that you log on to someone's, I don't know, Instagram, and they haven't posted in over 6 months, right? It doesn't give the best impression of your organization, and you always want to make a good first impression, right? So, do you have the time to do so? It's better to do one thing well versus 5 things halfway, right? Master one and then scale to the others once you've gotten used to it. Okay. So, and the last one is, what are the results? It is wonderful to put something into place at the beginning, but you cannot forget to monitor your progress, right? So we're not talking about giving it one post and seeing how it does. We're talking about giving it a significant amount of time to track your progress. Do you have the results that you're expecting? Is your community growing? If it's not, don't hesitate to start over and try again. Again, the name of the game of most communication marketing is that even if you've invested time into something, even in your resources, but it's not working, throw it away. It's not worth, just because you've invested previous time and energy into it and it's not working for you. Be radical, change your strategy. You've learned something, and that's what's important. Learning what didn't work is just as important as learning what does work. It's even maybe a more valuable lesson. Okay. So let me give you 2 examples. So on the left, there is an example of Pencils of Promise, who has 190,000 followers on Instagram, but they only have 6 total employees in the United States. Sorry, I hit my screen with my knee. I hope you didn't hear that. I hope I didn't hurt your ears. So they have 6 total employees in the U.S., and none of them are dedicated to social media, right? So this is something that they're able to do. It's a community. It is a community that they have been able to scale with no one dedicated to. One person dedicated to their social media. So even doing it with a very small team, or only doing it for 10% or 20% of your time, is totally possible. Okay. They were able to find their niche with beautiful photography and powerful reels, videos, which have allowed them to grow a global following in many different countries. Another example at the bottom is a TikTok account of the Human Rights Campaign, who has over 200,000 followers on TikTok and tons of engagement. So lots of shares, lots of likes and comments. Again, engagement is when people are interacting with your content. They're not just viewing it, but they're commenting and they're liking and they're sharing. We want to have an engaged community on our social media. Okay. But this is the true power of social media. Remember how in the beginning we were talking about you want to activate that community when the time comes? This is where it gets really important. Is that, imagine for 1 minute, if you're the Human Rights Campaign, you have 200,000 people on your TikTok and you want to raise funds. You are calling for donations. Let's say 5% of those people give $5 each. That is a huge sum of money, over $50,000 that you could have raised with one call to action. Right? So activating your community means different things to different people. Obviously, not all of you are going to be searching to raise funds. Some of you may be wanting to increase membership, oh my God, I'm sorry, my brain. Do renewal season for your membership, sell tickets to an event that you're hosting, etc. It could be anything, right? So activating your community doesn't have to mean raising funds specifically. But again, you see my point is saying that you want to activate your community when the time comes. It's a very powerful tool to have. Okay, but don't panic. You don't need to be everywhere all at once. It actually could be counterproductive. Again, like we've talked about before, if you try to be everywhere all at once. Again, the name of the game is quality over quantity. It's better to tackle one, master it, versus do everything halfway. Okay. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably sitting here being like, Trish, I'm not on any social networks at all. What do I do? What am I supposed to do? Right? So I have a solution for you. you're supposed to ask yourself these 4 questions still and find one channel that's right for you. Okay, and that is going to be your mission. So your mission is, if you already have social media, fantastic. If you don't, start from scratch here. Your mission is to give a grade from 1 to 5 of all of the questions that we've talked about above. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to want to suspend any accounts that have the lowest score. Again, concentrate your efforts where they are going to be the most useful, kind of like you would with a strategy of war, I guess, right? Social media is a powerful place. You want to take a powerful approach. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. So it kind of could look something like this. Again, 5 being the highest score, 1 being the lowest score. You want to give a grade to each one of these questions. And again, don't hesitate to be radical, make some radical decisions, and cut or suspend the accounts of the lowest score. Okay? I promise you that doing two things or one channel really well and growing and focusing on growing your community there is going to be a much more powerful and effective strategy than anything else. Okay, so I'm done talking now. It's a miracle. So let's just recap really fast on the 4 things that we've learned. So to summarize, in order to make your nonprofit more visible online, you want to do these 4 things. You want to, on your website, you want all of those 5 elements that we've talked about: who you are, what you do, how you can get involved, why they should trust you on your website before the scroll. You want to install the Google Search Console so that you know exactly how people are finding you with what keywords. You want to verify if you're eligible for Google Ad Grants so that you can benefit from those $10,000 of free advertising per month. And then you want to evaluate your social media channels so that you can start to tackle that big world of social media and activate that community when you need it. Okay, and remember, it's not a moot point. I'm sorry, that's a terrible joke, but I couldn't find a way to bring it around other than that. So don't hesitate to be radical. Don't be afraid to test and learn your strategies. Again, with your results, you're going to iterate on what worked and throw away what didn't, right? So again, the name of the game, test and learn. Try something out. Put your energy into it. Monitor the results. If it doesn't work, you try again. That is okay. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Learning what didn't work is going to be just as effective as learning what did work. Okay? I don't know if you have any Friends fans here, but all I can think about when I see this joke is it's Moo. No? Anyone? Okay, never mind. Anyway, so if you would like to learn more about Springly before we kind of get into our last summary here, is that if you want to learn more about us, we'd love to meet you. We'd love to learn more about you. Obviously, you're welcome to visit our website at springly.org. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you have our contact information here on the screen. And I'd like to formally invite you, for everyone here and everyone watching back at home, to join our newsletter, subscribe to our newsletter, Spring Into Step. It is a brand new newsletter that we launched actually in January. It is written by yours truly, so you get it every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. and it is full of actionable and simple tricks to help grow your nonprofit to the stars. And so we discuss things like accounting, organizational topics like board member management, taxes, which is great for April. April tax season is coming up. Communication and marketing, PR. Everything under the sun that you can imagine, we discuss in our newsletter. And so we'd love to have you, and you'll get it every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. written by me. So again, I'd love to have you there. And I think it's going to be the best email that you get all week, but that's just my opinion. So I did promise you a gift, and I have one for you. So Springly offers us a half day to volunteer per month, and I want to donate my one half day, so the half day in April, because I guess tomorrow is the end of March, to one of you to elaborate on one of the topics that we've discussed here today. So I can either do an SEO audit for you. We can spend some time optimizing your website. We can talk about ad opportunities, or we can even elaborate in an entire communication strategy. I know half a day does not seem like a lot, but I promise you it is plenty to tackle one of these topics and for you to come out with one of these really good, with an action plan to improve your visibility via one of these steps. So how do you apply. How to enter, again, this is not just for everyone here live with me tonight, but it's or today. It is for everyone who's watching us at home. You have a week to enter. All you need to do is contact me. This is my my personal email here. I respond to every email I get also. So if you just want to say hi, I'd love to say hi back. You can apply by sending me an email with a reason, or I guess a reason of why your nonprofit needs help. Basically, the more creative, the better. I'm not particular at all. This is not a blind draw. I want to see how motivated you are, and creativity gets major points. So yeah, you're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn as well if you prefer that. You're welcome to submit it by LinkedIn or by email or whatever, and I will choose the winner in about a week, and I will get connected with you guys. So that's it. Questions, comments, concern? I know we're 1 minute over our time. I apologize, but now we have all the time for questions. I'm gonna take a sip while we wait for questions. All right, question, Kern. Okay, can you post too often? So I guess we're talking about social media here. So can you post too often? So that's a great question. The name, again, with social media, consistency is key. And so I think consistency over posting sporadically is definitely more the approach that you'd like to take. So posting too often, posting every day is never a problem. It depends on the engagement that you have. I would definitely consider posting every day when you start. Maybe too much. I think starting sustainably by posting consistently 1 or 2 or 3 times a week is definitely more important than, and making sure it is sustainable for you and for your organization, versus kind of going really gung-ho at the beginning and then having to pull back, is definitely a more sustainable approach. So posting too often, not necessarily, but posting consistently and making sure that if you're posting that often that it is sustainable for you is definitely the more important question to ask. Any other questions, comments, concerns to discuss? If not, I'm happy to just hang out for a while. We got time. It was so nice to have you guys here. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the chat if you guys thought it was too fast, it was too slow, if the information was too basic or too advanced. That's great feedback for us to know as well. Obviously, this is the first time that we're doing this with this topic in particular. So please let me know what you thought about the content, and we're open to any feedback. If you guys need more detailed information, if it was just too short for the amount of time, or if it was perfect for what you're looking for, I'd love to know. I see some people typing, so. Susan, thanks for the feedback. This was awesome. We have a lot to evaluate, some ideas for positive change. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. I can't wait to see you guys on the first page of Google and see all of your websites. When you're done with your website or any updates, be sure to send them to me. I'd love to see them and support you. Springley would love to support you with your website. Okay, Marilyn, 1-year-old with limited funds. Okay, that's okay. All of these things are free that you're doing, that we've suggested here, are free. They do not cost a dime. And I know that human time does cost money. It has a financial cost. I'm very aware of that. But again, if you want to start small, start with 1 and then scale to the rest. That's perfectly okay. I would definitely suggest that you start with your website. That's kind of the key, the picture into what you do. Great. Okay, I have a question here from John. When and what will future webinars be? Great question. So we have a webinar coming in May about fund accounting with our partner, the Charity CFO. The Charity CFO is a wonderful accounting firm that helps nonprofit organizations, exclusively nonprofit organizations. And we are collaborating with them on a webinar to discuss fund accounting. So fund accounting, again, is a form of accounting that helps you, diversify your funds into unique funds. Wow, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Thankfully, they're doing it. So that is the only webinar that's coming up. I think we're waiting to see about the feedback about this one, if we're going to propose another webinar of this style upcoming. So let me know if you guys would like another one that like this, and we'd be happy to oblige, of course. And if there are any topics that you'd like us to discuss that we haven't or hadn't touched on, that is, we'd love to hear that as well. All right, I think that will probably do it for us, you guys. It was so nice to meet you and see you. Thank you, John. That's very sweet for your feedback. I think that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. Or today. Where is my head at today? Thank you so much for joining us. You guys will get the replay and the slides by email in the coming days. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. And yeah, enjoy. Have a great afternoon. And again, when you're done with your, don't forget to apply for my half-day volunteering. I'd love to again meet more of you guys. And once you're started working on your websites and everything, and if you're starting your social media, don't hesitate to tag us or send them to me. I'd love to see what you guys are working on. We're so proud of you. Thank you. Hot lemonade and honey for cold. I'm gonna finish my cup of tea and get back to work. Bye, guys. Thank you.